Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dakr City. So what we're going to be doing today, guys, is building up a really nice multi-story car park, which is what we're getting started on right now. This is actually going to be my first multi-story, believe it or not. So it was a bit of fun kind of coming up and having a look at different designs. One thing that I really did see was this kind of like repeating pattern. You know, the pillars are always in the same places and pretty much exactly the same distance as well. So that makes it nice and easy for us in terms of building. Having this big kind of like iron blocks as well on the front there with iron trapdoors. I really wanted to add some colour in. We got two entrances on the side here, which just links all into those airport kind of cargo area that we've been building up over the last couple of episodes. So having that on here. Now we've actually got quite a few floors on this one as well. I want to have quite a large multi-story. I think it's got around about the 400 spaces, so that's in terms of the Minecraft spaces as well, which are quite large, but I did want to have, you know, a really large area on this. Now, of course, we've got to get away into this airport, or this side of the airport, the cargo side of the airport, so we're going to need to build some roads. What I want to do with this is actually build the roads lower down, so that it just kind of adds a little bit of difference, because we've got this flat world that I've been using, and we need to really start to variate the levels. Later down the line, we're going to be bringing this one into World Painter and actually painting some areas to get some really nice terrain. But for this area, with the airport in particular, I want to have it mostly flat, which is why we started with a flat world. And what you can see with this road as well is we haven't just got like a large straight area. I'm wanting this to kind of turn over time. So we've got some, you know, kinks in it. It is going at a slight angle. This is just going to add more interest into our world as we go. Now, of course, for this, we don't want people just being able to drive straight off from these kind of warehouses and go straight onto the road. That would cause quite a lot of accident. So we're going to put in a nice wall in here, this nice fencing that we've got going all the way across here. And this really works quite nicely as well, doing it at an angle. It just adds in that kind of, you know, design kind of thing where you can see these roads going off at slightly different angles, and especially in the UK, we do not really have straight roads. Whenever you look at them, you know, there's bits of straight road, but generally they are a bit windy. So really adding that in, adding a bit more character as well with this being angled, and I really like how that looks. Now that actually gives us a couple different spaces that we've had where we've been building over the last few episodes. So I'm actually going to put in a couple other bits of car parks. Yep, this is a car park episode or a parking lot episode for our American cousins across the pond. So yeah, putting in this, doing a couple different designs. I wanted to actually have one that was kind of bordered by hedges. I thought that'd be quite cool. So, you know, over time, these areas will get taken up by different things like these. Maybe this is part of a perk, you know, you don't have to use the multi-story. They've actually got their own car park out there. Or it's just for managers, as we, you know, tend to find in the real world. Managers usually have a space, one of the perks of the job. Now, putting in some nice trees, I decided to go with some birch trees on here. Actually, this is something that you should really do across all of your worlds, and especially your modern worlds, because we don't see it enough, which is, you know, nice kind of organic trees. I've been doing a lot of mine by hand, actually. In fact, this whole episode, all of the trees are going to be by hand and have been so far. At some point, it might be worth me templating out some of those, but you do need a good amount of them so that when you rotate them, they all look a little bit different. And we've got a little bit of a lay-by in here as well. This is just going to be, you know, a temporary kind of stop area. And that, in fact, what I ended up putting in here was a airport security car later down the line. Now, because we've got this really big road, we got to get away into our kind of cargo terminal area. So what I'm doing is basically a roundabout that goes over the top, so it's an overpass. And we're going to have, you know, two bridges here. So this is actually like a really, really big roundabout. So you'll join it and you'll be able to go all the way around to get onto, well, from and to each side of the road from here to actually get into that area. And then we can actually use this as well to go onto the other side of the road where we can build something else. You know, who knows what's going to come up in a future episode. But if you guys have got ideas, make sure to comment them below. But I was really happy with how this turned out, and also the large scale that we ended up going with it. Now, to get onto that large kind of double, not really a double roundabout, but this large roundabout that has these two overpasses, we of course need to have an exit. So because we're in the UK, for this Minecraft world at least, we drive on the left. I know we're a bit strange on that side, but if you were doing this where you drive on the right, this would just be an exit ramp, so it's kind of the same thing really. So what we've got right here is we've got this kind of like flatter area, and then it starts to ramp up and then it flattens out again, so that, you know, when you're driving onto this, you've got a good amount of time to go over onto it. And then when you get to the top, you can actually see, that's why it's flat at the top, so you can see the traffic that's there, so you know when you can go. You don't want to have an angle right at the end, for that exact reason. Now it's a bit more difficult to do it in Minecraft to figure out, you know, where does that actually sit. So initially I just divided that up and then started editing it from there. But you can see this here, me just cutting into those hills, pushing those backs. Unfortunately, it did mean I had to get rid of some of my trees, which I just built, but you know, overall, it actually worked with the small car park that we made earlier, which I'm happy with. So we're putting in some lines there just to make it look more interesting, and of course some signs to say, you know, what's coming up. So we've got a sign here to say where you're going to be turning on this, you know, large roundabout across this whole thing. But here we go, guys. Here is the finished up build. I'm really happy with how this turned out. We've got that nice car park on the side there, a couple bits and bobs on there. We've got this really cool multi-story. Now, as I'm building cars, I'm actually building up these, putting these in here. It's been really good to actually use this as kind of like a bit of a store. So if I'm looking around for things to paste in my world later, we can do. And then we've got that kind of overpass part of it where we can then come off of this main road and get elsewhere. But guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.